Hello and welcome to another Game Nexus gameplay video. Today we're going to be taking another look at Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. Of course this is running on my PlayStation 5, but of course it can also be played on PlayStation 4. And if you don't know anything about this game, it's basically an enhanced port of Virtua Fighter 5 that was originally released in the arcades and then later got ported to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5.
I won't go easy on you.
And if you're familiar with Virtua Fighter 5, you won't find all that much new here, except for basically they've added online play so you can play everyone online, and at least the character graphics have been greatly enhanced. The backgrounds look fairly similar to me. They're maybe a bit sharper since they've been like up-resed a bit, but if you know nothing about this game, basically they took Virtua Fighter 5, put in some new character models, and basically made everything run a lot better. And it runs on like the Dragon engine, which is the engine for one of the Yakuza games. And this game was released in 2021 as an enhanced port of Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, renamed Ultimate Showdown. But for some reason in Japan they call it Virtua Fighter 5 Esports, which I guess they figured esports were a popular thing and it would like take advantage of the craze. And now the thing I've noticed about this game, and at least the 6 gameplays I've done, which you'll be seeing in the 6 videos I'll be releasing on this game, but it seems like there's 2 different paths in this game where you'll get like Brad Burns, Wolf here, and a bunch of the other characters, and then the other path has like that dude from Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, that like Go guy, and then there's other characters that you will see that are completely different, like Eileen. And it's just like when I was playing the arcade versions of Virtua Fighter, it seems like it's absolutely random as to like what path the game chooses for you. So until you get to the first stage, you don't know what path you're going to go through and what characters you will see in this gameplay. Now, I'm not sure if it's just the way that the graphics are drawn, but it kind of looks like when you go under that bridge when it's actually moving, it's like the bridge gets drawn in as you're going under it, which is something you wouldn't have seen in any of the arcade versions, or it could just be my eyes, honestly. And that was like one of the fastest first rounds I had ever done. Oh, and keep watching these videos, because there actually is one video where I beat Doral, which I was absolutely surprised what character I beat her as, but I believe one of the characters I beat her once. It might have even been Pai Chan here, but yeah, she's one of those characters that no matter what game I fight her against, she's always like arcade hard, even in say some of the console versions. But definitely like the use of dynamic lighting in this game, and it definitely looks nice. And I definitely have to say, the monk here, he's most certainly gotten a lot of detail like in his face texture. If you take a close look at his face, he looks a lot better than even he did in Virtua Fighter 5. And they just put a lot of detail into Li Fei here, so he just ends up looking like a really good character when it comes to this game. And I made mention of it in the previous video, but I will say it again. I'm just hoping that this game did well enough that Virtua Fighter 6 will finally be a thing after like 18 years at this point, since Virtua Fighter 5 came out in 2006, and now we're in 2024 when I'm recording these videos. And I keep thinking to myself, I really wish like they would just make the next game in the series, because it's a really fun series, and I'd love to see what new characters they've come up with. Because even with like the enhancements in Ultimate Showdown here, like, the oldness of the character graphics kind of is showing at this point. So it'll be nice to have, like, brand new, like, higher res characters, maybe 4K characters that they'd be building.
Round one.
And of course, maybe it'll be like a Virtua Fighter 3 to Virtua Fighter 4 type jump, where you kind of had your more cartoony characters in Virtua Fighter 3, and then you had your more realistic looking characters in 4. Because I could remember that magazine cover where it showed Akira Yuki, and he looked so realistic, and like everyone was so surprised, like, this is Virtua Fighter 4, because we're all used to the original Virtua Fighter, which of course had the like the really like square looking graphics. Then you got the Virtua Fighter 2, which everyone was a bit more rounded, a bit more like human looking, if you will, and not like a digital character. And then of course 3, everyone, they had more polygons, they looked a little bit more cartoony / anime-esque, and then of course 4 just blew us out of the water, that it had like that realistic look to everybody, and you kind of looked at the characters and were thinking, now these look like real people, they no longer look like cartoons generated by a computer. And of course 5 up here just basically stacked more detail on top of that, and you just have the best looking characters here, which eventually would also make it into Dead or Alive 5 as guest characters for many of these characters. And I know this character, multiple times I've said that she's from Virtua Fighter 4, because I originally mistakenly thought she was, but of course Aoi made it into the game in 3. And in Virtua Fighter 4, we actually got Li Fei and Vanessa Lewis were your 2 original game editions, whereas Taka Arashi and Aoi were Virtua Fighter 2. Which is a thing I like about the series, is they don't like flood the game with generic clone characters like some games tend to do, and they're just like very like ever so slightly different than other characters who are in some of the games, and you're just kind of like, oh well, it's good to have a new character, but why are they so the same? Whenever I think of a concept like that, I'm always thinking of like Soul Calibur. Because if you recall correctly, in Soul Edge, or Soul Blade as it would come home as, we had a lot of unique characters, and then Soul Calibur kind of did the clone for clone, as I tend to call it, with all the characters who were in that game. And then once again we have our nice temple with Akira Yuki here. But as I was saying, Soul Calibur was that game that had like Keelik and Song Mina almost being the same character with a couple variations here and there, and like Rock and Astaroth, and like every character kind of had their clone. It was kind of nice to have a big roster, and eventually in sequels you would have like more uniqueness between the clone characters. But yeah, Soul Calibur was kind of a roster built with here's one character and here's their almost exact clone with a couple of unique moves that makes them a little bit more unique. Like Song Mina was a bit faster than Keelik, and Keelik had a couple more jumps and kicks than Song Mina did, but in the end of the day, if you could play as one, you could play as the other. It wasn't like night and day difference between the two characters. But that's what I like about Sega when they make Virtua Fighter. They always find a way to put another character in the game that's not like Akira Light or like Sarah's brother. Like even when you go between Sarah and Jackie Bryant, they both have like their own moves and they're kind of their own characters. It doesn't feel like Jackie is just boy Sarah or Sarah is just girl Jackie. You know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely have to say this game is one of those ones that if you really never had a chance to enjoy Virtua Fighter 5, or of course enjoy the online scene of it, this is definitely the game that's really fun for that. In the last video I talked about this part where Doral jumps off, and this is that exact one where she kind of lands, but doesn't quite land, and it has that like Alpha 152 effect in it. But yeah, this is one of those characters that I think in the original Virtua Fighter, it took me like so many gameplays to actually win, and I think it might have even been Pai Chan that I beat Doral with, and it was one of those like surprising victories when it actually happened. And now that I'm thinking back at it, there was a couple of times in some of the other games that I beat Doral, and it was just kind of surprising when it happened, because like you don't expect it. And I think even in Virtua Fighter 4 I had a lot of trouble with her, and I don't even remember if I beat Doral in Virtua Fighter 4 any of the times. But yeah, definitely have to say, if you have not tried Ultimate Showdown here, yeah, there's the one time I actually beat her, as I just mentioned. But not for 2 rounds. But if you've never played Ultimate Showdown here, I would highly recommend this game. It is a very good version of the game. The online scene is still very active, and you can play a lot of different people in some very fun Virtua Fighter 5 matches until they might give us another game. But this has been another Game Nexus gameplay video and another Virtua Fighter video, and I shall see you later. Bye.
Game over!